So I'm Jeanette Hogg, I'm the lead Admiral Nurse based at Hospice Isle of Man. A lot of what we do is supporting carers and people with dementia. So we do this through face-to-face visits, telephone calls or email consultations. We also run a number of social groups, so the bowling group, we've got a Tai Chi group that's coming up at the end of this year, and we have carer training and a dementia wellbeing group as well. So we support people mid to end stage dementia. So we're preparing people for those last sort of steps really, you know, what's going to happen in the last sort of 18 months of life as much as we can predict it with dementia, because we know it's very unpredictable. But we also support people through care home transition. So quite often carers have been looking after somebody 24/7 and they go into a care home because that, you know, they can't manage to look after them just on their own. It's become too much for them. And then what do they do with themselves? So we support them through that care home transition for about 12 months, and we also support post-bereavement as well. Anybody with a diagnosis of dementia or their carer or family member, it's an open referral service. So carers can refer themselves, it doesn't need to come through a health professional, which I think makes us a little bit unique. Some of the common myths with dementia are around the fact that people think it's a disease of old age. You know, when we actually know that people are getting diagnosed a little bit younger, you know, there are things we can do to modify that risk. You know, I think we could prevent about 40% of dementias if people were able to modify their risks a little bit with healthy living. So a lot of the time with dementia, it's about when those fairy lights connect. So sometimes people can do something because all them fairy lights have lined up and they've all connected. And then half an hour later, them fairy lights aren't connected and people can't do it. And then carers get very frustrated and they're like, why can't they do that? Because they could do that half an hour ago or they could do that yesterday. And because it changes so much, so you could have 10 people with the same diagnosis, but they'll all present very, very differently. So there's a lot of personalities in there. And I think that's what makes it so difficult, because you're not dealing with the same straightforward thing day after day. For the people with dementia, we're obviously thinking about their physical health needs and also their mental health needs, like what's their mood like. We're also looking at reducing some of those behaviours that people find quite challenging, which are actually unmet needs. So a lot of what we do is around educating carers as well, to make sure that they understand that the person's not doing it on purpose. There's a reason behind this behaviour and let's try and get to the bottom of the reason. So yeah, so we'll look at environment as well. We'll look at the physical health and mental health of the carer. We'll look at the carer's needs in terms of, are they getting some balance in their life? You know, can we put some work with them to put some support in place so they get a break? And giving them permission to have that break as well, because quite often they don't look after their own health needs because they're so busy looking after their loved one. And we also do some planning for the future. So when things change, because we know that things will change with dementia in terms of continence, communication, eating and drinking, and obviously those end-of-life care plans, because we need to have those conversations early before people lose the capacity so they can tell us their wishes and we can meet them.